Welcome to my podcast, 3 Highly Effective Ways to Calm an Angry Teenager. Hi, I'm Margaret Hepworth, author of The Gandhi Experiment, teaching our teenagers how to become global citizens. I've been a teacher, educator of teenagers for over 30 years, and you now have 15 minutes of valuable listening for free. Now, in this podcast, you'll learn simple techniques for immediate change, choices your teens can make to help them personally adjust their temperament. But the third one is the most difficult. It's monitoring your own reactions. To begin, here's something we all need to understand. Anger and conflict are natural and normal. As human beings, we know we often anger easily and find ourselves in conflict with others. So what we discover is it's not actually anger as such that is the problem. It's what we do with our anger, the subsequent actions that we take that counts. And this most certainly applies to our angsty and angry teenagers. Now, this podcast is in no way saying that teens are perpetually in this state. Yet what we're looking at is how to help an angry teenager calm down when they are in those moments of angst. Here are 3 things that have highly effective outcomes for teenagers and indeed for ourselves when they find themselves in that state where anger has taken over and they're ready to hit, punch, yell, stomp, abuse. You know, you've seen it. So here we go. Lesson 1 is 3 immediate simple techniques. The first is to remind them to breathe. What? Mark, that's way too simple and too obvious, you're thinking. Hang on. You need to understand the effect of this one very simple technique and the reason why it works. And then I'm going to teach you 2 more easy techniques like this one. When we understand the why, the more we will actually remember to use these strategies. Teenagers don't want to be angry. The anger is the sign that they want something to happen, something to change, whether this is for someone else to say sorry, for the situation to alter, for something to be resolved. They hang on to anger for reasons we will discuss in another podcast. They want to release that anger, and this can be done positively or negatively. So, breathe. Breathing does a number of things. We all know the old take 3 deep breaths to calm you down. Teach them this breathing exercise. This was taught to me by my good friend Marissa Lawler at Just Believe Fit in Melbourne. Now do this one with me. It's so simple. Breathe in for 1. Breathe out for 2. Breathe in for 3. Breathe out for 4. Breathe in for 5. Breathe out for 6. Breathe in for 7. Breathe out for 8. Breathe in for 9. Breathe out for 10. Now feel the difference for yourself. Let's keep going. I'm giving you 3 different, very simple techniques to use. The first, as we have seen, is the breathing. Now, why? It seems obvious that taking in of oxygen refreshes our brain, and the release of carbon dioxide calms us. But wait, there's more. In breathing deeply, we are stilling ourselves and becoming present and mindful to our current state. And the breathing gives us something super important, time. Time for the messages of anger to run from the backs of our brains, the highly emotional place, to the frontal lobes, the area of rational, calm, logical thought. And again, I'll explain this in my upcoming video series on teenage anger management. The next technique is using water. No, not to throw on them. Drinking water. Again, too obvious, yet we have to learn to reach for that glass of water the minute we feel the anger rise. And here's the why. Water dilutes stress hormones. When we are angry or upset, we can feel the stress hormones racing around our bodies. Try it for yourself. Stand still, drink a glass of water, and feel the difference. Try this one. This is our third simple technique. Change their physiology. Now, by this, I mean literally ask them to alter the physical position they are in. If they're hunched over, ask them to sit up or stand up. This allows the airwaves to become more open, more oxygen to flow in. And then we're back to number 1, breathing better. Try it for yourself. Hunch over in anger. Tense your muscles. Now sit up, shoulders back. Feel your diaphragm open. Breathe. Breathing becomes easier and opens us to the ability to calm down. Lesson number 2 is choices. Listen carefully because this is really interesting information. We all learn differently. That is, we have preferred ways of learning. This in turn affects the way we might behave and interact socially. And most importantly for today's podcast, our preferred methods of learning will affect the way we solve our problems and the way we choose to calm ourselves down. It's all about understanding ourselves, and as I often share with my teenage participants in my workshops, the more we understand and know ourselves, the better life is for us. And the better for us, the better life is for everyone around us. Here are some of the most common ways that kids will share with me their preferred method for calming down. Listening to music, playing sport, doing something super physical, going for a walk, patting the dog, lying down and going to sleep, finding that someone they trust and talking to them, watching a movie to distract themselves. It may even be crying. When the anger or upset hits, ask them to make that choice. What is it that you're going to choose to do to calm down? And then we can talk together in a little while. Teach them also that it is their responsibility to own their own actions, that they can control their anger and they must learn how to do this. Go back to this question. What is it that you are going to choose to do to calm down? Note those words that you are going to choose to do. As the parent, you're handing the choice over to them. They have the control. You are acknowledging that their way of calming down might be different to yours. And yet you're also openly suggesting, as the parent or the adult, I expect you to make a choice, to take action to calm yourself down. Have these conversations when they're not in an angered state. Tell them what you've been learning about. This is called overt or open learning. I do this all the time in my workshops. When they do become angry and you ask them to make their choice to calm down, they'll already know what you're talking about and they will know what to do next. As the parent, let them know that you're there to help and that you will also learn to better control your own anger. Which leads us to our third lesson for today. Now, as I said at the beginning, the third one is by far the most difficult. It's all about you calming yourself. Become responsive, not reactive. But how do I do that, Mark, when they are the problem? Firstly, change that thinking around. You are the adult. Remember, the more mature, the more rational one. And you are their greatest primary role model. If you yell back viciously, you are teaching them that this is the correct, acceptable response. How you behave is how they will subconsciously carry these behaviors into their future relationships. And I know you want them to have happy relationships with friends and future partners. Treat them with respect and dignity. What? They're not treating me with respect and dignity? Exactly. And you are about to role model this to them. Try this. Instead of saying to yourself, my kid is the problem, change it to, we have a problem. How are we going to sort it out calmly? Now go back to numbers 1 and 2, the 3 simple techniques of making choices, and practice these for yourself. When their anger flares, you breathe consciously. Drink your water, adjust your physiology, make your choices, and then respond calmly. To recap what we've learned today, anger is natural and normal, yet we know that to stay in a heightened state of anger for a prolonged period of time is not healthy, neither physically or mentally, not healthy for us and not healthy for those around us. Breathing consciously, drinking water, and changing our physiology will help us calm down. Making choices that are personally relevant to us, our preferred way, will work effectively for us. And that as the parent or the adult, we must become the role models that help our kids make these changes. Together, these are highly effective ways to help our teenagers calm down. To help you even more and to go more deeply, I'm about to launch my series of videos called The Teen Angers. Now, this will include more simple strategies to draw on in times of anger and upset that are easy for any teenager to use, including some mindfulness techniques. It also includes some differences for boys and for girls in the techniques you might use. More about understanding our role as parents or teachers, the adults in the piece. Looking at boundaries. Transforming our anger into positive use by finding purpose. How to move from being aggressive or passive to being assertive. And lots of other deep, doable, highly effective learning. And for a short time only, there's a bonus section on something of the most vital importance in today's world. I call it the critical 2 seconds. This is how to regain control of ourselves when we have crossed that anger line, when we really want to hit, when we really want to scream emotional abuse, when we have written that email, that text, taken that photo. In that critical 2 seconds, how do we not hit, not yell, or not press send? If you're listening to this, I'm assuming you've signed up to my email list to get notifications of when the next download of great stuff is coming. If by chance you're listening to this and haven't yet signed up, I'd strongly advise you to do so you don't miss out. Please pass the link on to your friends. Every single one of you knows someone who could benefit from this. If we want to see a better world, then we all need to be looking out for and helping each other. So please spread the word freely and widely. There's much to learn. Putting in a bit of time and effort to learn about the teenage years will help you build much happier relationships with your children and help you co-create happier, healthier homes. Love and light, cheery blessings, Marg.